Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with Bulldog football and joined by head coach Tony Annese. Coach, welcome first back to the show.
Thanks, Rob. Glad to be back.
This Wednesday, National Signing Day this week, and I know a day that brings a lot of excitement as you announce a future group of Bulldog football incoming recruits.
Yeah, excitement, relief. You know, beyond Christmas break, it's probably the second best day we have, just because it takes so much work to get a signing class put together. So we're excited again, but it's always a relief to get it behind us and get back with our guys.
I know since the end of the season, your staff's been hard at work. Just talk about the hours and the time they put in to haul in this year's recruiting class.
Well, you know, it's interesting, but you know, playing 3 weeks beyond anybody else in Michigan in regards to D2 this year, and 4 weeks we played last year in the playoffs. It almost puts you as a disadvantage, so you got to chase hard, and I don't like bringing recruits up on campus unless all the students are here, and so by the time we finished, and then you know, the next week was exam week, I don't want to bring recruits up during that time. So we didn't start till the weekend of January 12th, 13th, and so we were a little bit slow in starting, but you know, I always just feel like it's better to be more calculated, and I always tell my staff and recruits and parents that I want them to want us as badly as we want them, and ultimately taking the time to make sure that we do the right things to teach people who we are. It'll give us better retention, and overall it'll be a better situation long term.
How does the success, obviously under the 6 years you've been here, how does that help sell the Bulldog football program? Well,
you know, when we first got here, we were just selling ourselves and basically the faith of having an opportunity to be a championship caliber team, and now we are, you know, 60 games in 6 years, so makes life a little bit easier. You know, you go out there and show them how successful we've been, and people want to, you know, I always just say, you know, if you want to be a winner, you know, choose Ferris. If it doesn't matter to you, then I really don't want you anyhow. So that part of it is very important, and I think that ultimately it helps us get a better caliber player, and also allows us our reach to go a little bit further, because now there's more name recognition for who we are.
I know you can't mention any names or any specifics, but as you look at this year's class coming in, talk about some of the needs that you were able to address.
You know, I think we've got good balance again. You know, we try to recruit it almost like we're recruiting a football team. So, you know, 11 on offense, 11 on defense, a couple special teams guys. We've tweaked it a little bit this year because we had some mid-year transfer guys that came in more on defense than on offense. So in the recruiting class, we had a little bit more on offense than defense. But all in all, when you add them all up, it's complete balance, which is incredible. And we're just trying to meet the needs of, you know, our current talent level, our needs just from a practice perspective. You need a bunch of linemen to practice effectively, so, you know, particularly with scout and things like that. So we feel good about the class. It's got good balance. Again, there's a lot of good athletes again, so we feel like this is a good group, and we also feel there's a good group in front of them. We're really pleased by the true freshmen we still have on campus.
I was going to ask you about that, the guys that you brought in over the last couple of years, how they've progressed and developed, and what you expect out of this year's class.
Well, yeah, it's the challenge is, you know, it's never easy now. You know, it's like playing on Andy Broncoma's basketball team. You know, I watched him the other night. He's playing 11 deep. I just love that. I'm like, dang, how's it feel, you know, when you're playing 11 guys in a rotation? And that's kind of how we are now, where, you know, nobody is going to come here and say, oh, you know, I'm the man. It's just too hard to do. We've got depth at every position. So people are going to say, wow, he lost a lot of seniors. Yeah, true, we did. A lot of good players behind those seniors. And so I look forward to, you know, the growth of the program. But, you know, people say it's easier to get to the top and it's harder to stay on the top. But I feel our guys were working really hard, and our attitude's always you know, really, really good, to the degree that I think we're outworking everyone. And, you know, the expectation still hasn't been met here. The expectation to win a national championship has not been met. And so that's a motivating force for our guys to you know, achieve the ultimate goal.
Obviously, after last year's success, you come back and the guys starting to get into the off-season workouts. Just talk about what goes on between now and the start of spring football.
Yeah, I think it started like the Monday after we lost on that Saturday to Harding. These guys, I just can't say enough about their level of, discipline and commitment and passion for the game. And so, yeah, they've worked awful hard. A lot of it right now is just, getting that base back, the power and the core and strengthening all the muscle parts so that they can, be prepared for spring ball. But, we start winter conditioning. A lot of people start winter conditioning right when they get back. We do not. We start after signing day, and so we'll be starting that next Monday. And so, I think that our guys are doing the right things to develop their bodies, and then we'll run around some. Winter conditioning this year's only going to be 3 weeks rather than 4, and then we go on spring break, and then we start spring ball March 13th. Hopefully the weather cooperates.
One of those guys that developed, obviously one of those guys you lost, Zach Sealer. Talk about his future moving on to the NFL.
Yeah, we're excited for all our guys who potentially could be NFL caliber players. Last week we stopped in Total Sports Performance, and there's a few of those guys working out, training for the NFL. So it's great to see, but Zach is in Georgia right now, Okoye's in Texas, Reggie's in California. We got guys there in Wixom, but they're all over the place training in preparation. So we have a couple guys going down to Grand Rapids, training down there. So we're excited for their prospects. With Zach, obviously just gifted and talented and big and fast and strong, and so hopefully he gets the attention he deserves, and somebody jumps on him. My goal is to get somebody drafted here. I know we've been close, and we feel like our guys are now, 3 guys making 53-man rosters in the last 2 years. It's pretty cool, but we want to get guys drafted now because that'll demand a little bit more attention.
Obviously, here a long way to go before the start of the fall, but talk about what takes place here as you get ready for another season of Bulldog football.
Yeah, spring ball is going to be critical. We lost a lot of players on defense. And so it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of battles on the defensive side of the ball. On offense, we got 4 out of 5 offensive linemen back, our 2 best outside receivers back. So we've got some slots who Deion Earls and Harrington who played a lot in those spots. So we feel like offensively we've got a lot of guys back. There's going to be some challenges going forward at quarterback. We've got some, we're going to have a competitive circumstance in spring for that. But, our guys are just chomping at the bit already, and spring ball is the greatest because you just go out there and teach and have fun and enjoy one another and share the love we have for the game of football. So excited about that. And then, it'll be spring, summer, and boom, it's here again. So these years keep on flying by, but it's obviously an awesome opportunity, and anybody who watches Super Bowl, they'll be dying for football soon again.
Well, Coach, thanks for being with us. Best of luck here to the Bulldogs on National Signing Day.
Thanks, Rob. We'll see you soon.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.